Hello viewing friends, thank you for joining us once again. Good to have your company one more time on your channel. My name is Keith Resent. With me today is Mr. Gerval Weir. And today we will be having a very interesting discussion towards humanity, especially us here in Jamaica. But what we talk about today is not just for us alone. It implies to the whole wide world. You know, we recently came out of the coronavirus situation where our food stock was threatened. I personally see friends, close friends, that were in the chicken farming could not get any young chickens. Why? Eggs were not coming into Jamaica. Recently, the war in Ukraine. We in Jamaica here, we have to take consideration of this. Did we learn our lesson when we suffered from the pandemic? Our government seems to be not doing much. They're not saying much about our food security in the country. Mr. Gerval Weir is very much concerned, like myself and yourself and you should be. What if another pandemic rises? What if no ships, no food can come to Jamaica? How would we manage? We saw in Nigeria, they had stockpiles of rices piling up, reserved for years, just in case they enter into any disaster. With a warfare or natural disaster, they had rice supply. What we have in Jamaica, we have nothing. Henceforth, we have this discussion today. We have to have this discussion. We are not hearing those conversations among our government. So we do thank Mr. Gerval Weir. Will share some vital information with us this week, not just to the government, but to each individual, every family in Jamaica. Mr. Weir has something vital for us today. So let us sit back and enjoy a few moments as we talk with Mr. Gerval. Welcome, Gerval. Good to have you.
Pleasure, man.
Good to have you, man. Great man.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, man. I know you. You're no stranger to the government of Jamaica. You're no stranger to RADA. And the heads are aware of you. I think we saw you rather bigging up you on the YouTube channel. They have you on their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So you're well known to Jamaica. But for those citizens who do not know Mr. Gerval Weir, can you tell them in brief who you are, sir?
My name is Gerval Weir. I was born in Brownsville, St. Catherine. I'm now living in Ola. I graduated from Jamaica School of Agriculture with a general diploma in agriculture. I went to Tuskegee University. I did my bachelor's in agronomy, crops and soil sciences. I have another bachelor in biology and physical science, and I have an MED as well from Tuskegee University. I worked first of all with Comet Rice in Houston, Texas, in the parboiling department. That is to gelatinize the rice and to extend the shelf life of the rice. After working there for about 3 years, I went and worked with more rice factory as a miller in same place in Houston, Texas. And then I was fortunate enough to get a job which more or less bring me to this year, whereby I was working at a research station, rice research station in Harville, Texas. And from there, I was sent to Puerto Rico. When you have the like months now, the fall months, and things gonna get cold in the United States, they move their experiment and all that to a tropical country. And as you know, Puerto Rico is one of their, is a part of America. Mm-hmm. Yes. So then afterward, when I came back to Jamaica, I did the rice variety trial an experiment for rather at the Borders Research Center. And you just mentioned that it is on YouTube. I wasn't even aware of that. What I do know is that after we went to the Denby and we had a visit with all of the stakeholders in the rice thing. And we had a agricultural exposition in the multi-purpose stadium in Trelawney. And some Americans came and they were impressed with what, and they took the pictures and so forth, and the same experience I'm going through here now. And it was being shown in Connecticut, New Jersey, and in New York. And I think they showed occasionally there. So it seems to me that I do a good job, and and so forth. Now, rice has been grown in Jamaica for over 200 years. It's the same situation that we are facing now. It seems as if that was the situation they were facing then. The situation then was that they had the slaves, the masters could not feed them. First they sent to Michel Island, and they imported planting material to plant breadfruit. And then afterward, because breadfruit is also a food security crop, and then afterwards they sent for the rice. And I understand that this particular area that were growing rice in West Africa, that they came to in Georgia, and some of them were in Jamaica. And that's where it started from. Then we started growing the rice, and to the extent that they built a mill in Spanish Town, and the trains were taking it from all over Jamaica to Spanish Town to be milled. But then they had the competition for land and water with the sugarcane factory, and they would be saying now that the rice is cheaper to import, but they really want the sugarcane because of the labor that it absorbs and the employment it can create and all that type of stuff. Now, but amidst that, you still had, they stopped growing the rice officially in Jamaica, but you still had some farmers, even now, in St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland, with some old equipment, and they've been planting rice. Rice is really a first responder crop. It's one of the crops that is easiest to grow. Anywhere you have sugarcane and grass, that is a rice, that is most suitable for rice cultivation. And we know right now the areas, most of the areas that the rice used to grow all over Jamaica. We have that. We have that information. We know where they are. So all I'm imploring that, especially what we are facing now. We are facing a population explosion. And whenever you have population explosion, all Jamaica is 4,411 square miles. And when you have more people living here, it's going to require more houses, more roads, and also our land size is diminishing. So we're going to have to make use of what we have. So the rice, like I said, is the crop. If you were to go back and just think about it, if it's a school, any school in Jamaica, the food that is easiest to cook is not rice, banana, flour, dumpling, and all that type of stuff. It is rice, because you can always get the rice, wash it, and it's easier for the cook to cook it and all that type of thing. And every institution, if it is funeral and all that type of thing, rice is always there. Some people would say that the national dish of Jamaica is ackee and saltfish, but some people know that the saltfish comes from abroad, the ackee from here, but rice is what we use mostly in our meal and so forth. So some people say that that would be the most appropriate and the most fitting role for that, for the national dish and all that type of stuff. Anyway, rice is a crop that yields a lot, and the world would have been experiencing starvation? No, because that used to happen early in the 50s. But from the Green Revolution came about, where they started to do the hybridization of grains like your rice, your soybean, your wheat, and what else? Another crop again, and corn. Yes, and the new discoveries in terms of hybridization of crops. Hybrid crop would give higher yield and all that type of stuff. You find that the starvation has been abated. So we are now faced with a similar situation. Unfortunately to say that it don't seem as if the Green Revolution really take a hold of Jamaica. We are benefiting from the people, the countries that are utilizing it and using it up. But we in Jamaica have not practiced that. Now, when I say the pollination, you know that like in bees, the bees you use to pollinate the crops. Some of them is self-pollinated, some is human beings, some is the wind that pollinated. But in this instance with rice and what they have done hybridization. A hybrid plant is called a first filial generation, or it gives plant vigor, meaning that if you was to cross one rice that bears profusely, and because it bears that much, the weight of it hold on the rice in the water and it is spoiled. And then they go ahead and they cross another type of rice that has a strong root system, a strong stem, and other good characteristics. Then they cross that, and we are not being utilized. So there is an opportunity to utilize that in Jamaica. Yeah. So, I am passionate about the growing of rice. I just, like I said, I'm imploring Jamaica, get back to growing the rice. And one of the constraints and one of the limiting factors then was the fact that they had no rice mill in Jamaica. But I'm telling you now that you have small mills. They were milled with that machine. And here we have another mill of a different size. So this is really showing that there are so many mills that you can use. You can have one right at your home, and they are not expensive. To suit even for a household small mill, because what they used to do in the past, they grow the rice, they prepare it, fan it out and all that type of stuff. But when it comes to the milling, they put it in a mortar. And then I'll sun it, warm it up, put it in a mortar, beat it to get off the hull, and then they fan it out. And that is a very painstaking and long, elaborate procedure for you to get your meal and all that type of stuff. So right now, it's modern age. They have new small mills that even you in the country here, and I know we can be growing rice in mulch the land, just like in St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland, because they want it to conserve the water and as a weed control and measure. Dryland farming technique, you call it. But the same thing can be done for the rice wherever they don't have that plenty water and all that type of thing, and in the area where you don't have those level lands that is most conducive for rice production. You know what I mean?
So rice can be grown anywhere in Jamaica?
Anywhere you see grass.
On any soil?
On any soil. You might have some real limestone and lime and all those type of things that, hardly crop place could grow anything and that. But Jamaica has the soil type all over that is suitable for rice.
But what you're telling us now is vital information. We never know that rice would grow
everywhere
under mulch, with mulch.
With mulch. And I think, just let me tell you, I need to go back a little and tell you how prolific rice is. And I'm just going to whet your appetite. I don't want you to just go up and see a guinea grass and take up that guinea grass when it is flowering. And you just start to count the seeds on it. And you imagine the rice, you know what I mean, the size of it and all of that. But that will just give you an indication.
So it's the same way the rice.
Yeah, it belongs to the same family, gramineaceae, it's the monocrop, it has fibrous root system and all of the features. It mimics rice, you know. So that more, and sometimes too, in the crossing they have to go and get some wild rice and do with that one. When they see a characteristic, a character out of the wild rice, and then they are going to breed it into it and all that.
Yes. Can you just briefly run us through the process of the
hybridization?
Yes.
The resultant cross is really what you call hybrid vigor. You're trying to get hybrid vigor, and as such, they're gonna be when the new one comes, 2 parents is gonna outdo any of those parents. You follow me?
Yeah.
So now, what they would do in the lab, say in a small setting, where they are going to do the cross, okay? There are 2 fundamental things you must know about rice. One is that, and like all monocrop too, is that it sheds its pollen for 3 to 4 days, depending on the locality you have. But I remember when I was in Texas working at the research station, at 10 o'clock, for 3 days, the pollen is shed. You just go and look, and if it is thousands of acres of land, all of a sudden you just see all of them when it comes 10 o'clock just burst out, and the yellow pollen just show out, and it is such an amazing thing. Okay.
And they would float in the wind and so forth.
Yes. So now, rice really is a self-pollinated crop, but some of it are not pollinated. In other words, if you have, say, 1,000 seeds on the thing, you might have about 50% of that pollinated. So when you do that hybridization and use the pollen, and there are so many techniques in using that, you sort of catch it. In other words, it increases it to a minimum about 20% increase.
Okay.
So now, and at the same time, when you do that hybridization, when the rice is growing, just like a sugar cane, it gives some suckers. Those are called tillers. Normally, it would give about 8.5 tiller. But when you do the hybridization, it moves it to 15. And they are stronger. And you have stronger root system. You see what I'm saying? And the yield is more. And at the same time, when you do that, you can get the rice that you want, the disease resistant, you know what I mean? Breed into this new one, and so forth. So I was saying that you have some techniques that we are not utilizing, and when you start to grow your own rice, it would be good for you to enhance the yield, to use these techniques. I mentioned, like you plant 2 rows of that variety, 8 rows of the other variety, 2 rows of that variety, the same variety, and so forth throughout the field. And you try to make that the outer row, the 2 row, about 12 inches taller than this other row, right? And then now, first begin, you're going to have to synchronize the 2 rice. Make sure that if this one is 120 day, and that other one was 100 day, and like I said, it takes 37 days from flowering to harvesting.
Okay.
So what you would do, if you know that and you have one that is 100 day and one is 120 day, they are not going to flower at the same time. The one that is 100 and gonna flower before. So what you do in that instance is plant that part, the one that is 120 day, you plant it 20 days before, so that that one can catch up and they can equally shed their pollen together for that to take place. Well, okay, let's assume that the pollination is going on now. What you do, you'll see in a small scale that the Chinese with a thick stick like this here, just waving through the field. He might take a blower and just blow the pollen all around, right? Like the wind would do it. Or he might get a rope. You can definitely see that these rows here, this one and this one and this one and that one and that one, they are higher. They are about 12 inches higher. And when this man stands up over there and I'm over here, and he draws that rope and flip it over and go to the end of it and turn back. This one now is flipping over and the pollen is coming on that to pollinate the field. Yes, he would do this procedure in about every 30 minutes and do it 5 times in a day, because we know that the pollination takes place, say, from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So it's after that period, but you're going to do it for 3 days, and that particular time you're going to do, you'll be doing 5 times.
Yeah.
Yes. We would be standardizing the rice. To me, what it means is that you're going to have some rice. You have short grain, you have long grain, you have medium grain rice. You have some rice that even start to bear 65 days, 80 days, and so forth. You have thousands of rice variety in China and India and all those places, probably in Guyana as well. But so you're going to start from that and get the right one. And you cannot, if you get some rice now and you're going to plant, you can't be foolish enough to say you're going to mix this one with the other one, because some might be 85 days, and when it comes time for you to read it, you look and you say green seed inside there, right, and dry green, you know what I mean, and so forth, and so forth. So you have to be knowledgeable. Yes, so I'm saying with pollination, what we're doing in the research station is that we collect the pollen and they store it even for years. And then they disperse it in the big fields, and it pollinates it. And in another instant too, you will have a 3-wheel bike, and you get a rod, and you put at the back of the 3-wheel bike, and you run over those buns and the leaves. You go over it, and it lick the pollen and to disperse it. And that's why you see when they talk about your vegetable, you're growing your tomatoes and your pepper and all that type of thing, they bring bees, they rent bees and put beside it, because they know the power of the pollination, and the bees is one that would be pollinating the field. I want to impress on everybody that we can all grow our rice. Some people would say, why grow rice? And we can always go to the supermarket and buy it. It's like cheaper and all that type of thing. But I tell you, especially now when we are looking at this global warming and the negative effects, you know, rainfall now, hurricane come down near the monsoon, you name it, come and disrupt things. Wouldn't it be good when you grow your rice and say you have in the country, you have another piece of plant, and you are going to plant the rice for yourself and you are going to use mulch. We are even more advanced now and can do it even better. Because we have those black tanks and we have the drip hose and all that type of thing. And we can also use the overhead sprinkler if we do have them to that. One thing we know is that rice requires plenty of water. It is grown in the aquatic situation with the water. It is grown in natural rainfall. It is grown with mulch and with the drip hose and all that type of thing. So yes, we can grow our rice, and I know how it would feel if you ever have a hurricane, everything blow down, breadfruit, banana, you know what. Can you imagine 1 week at the school where they don't have any rice to fix for the student? The amount of crying out, that's how you must be thinking. Right now, you imagine you have a hurricane now for whatever reason, and you have 100 pounds of rice in storage. You can find it being in jars, in drums, in that. You know what I mean?
Every time when a hurricane hits Jamaica on the news, the banana plantation they get blown.
Exactly. Exactly. So you can see that really rice is the #1 food source in Jamaica. Rice is what we call the first responder. You want to forget that name. See, like how you have anything up like a hurricane, the soldiers and the police and the nurses and the doctors coming to your head. Rice is there to come to your head. Even this Gaza thing is going on, this war with, and some of the people that went, move on, they say we can't get any food to eat. All we eating is rice. So you can see the importance of growing rice, you know what I mean? And suppose you want to have accident.
Yes, man. And you mentioned first responder, and we mentioned food security.
Yes.
Tell us one of the main reasons why we should grow rice. Earlier you mentioned that it has a long shelf life.
Yes.
But how long? Say I read my rice now, today.
Yes.
How long can I keep it in a storeroom?
Well, I tell you what. If they do the parboil processing, it takes longer. It has a longer shelf life. It gelatinizes it and so forth. But I was doing the research at Borders Research Center, and I milled some rice. You saw them there.
Yeah.
And I had them from 2008. And now it's 2023, and they are still fresh.
So we can cook them later.
You see, at that time we were sort of bargaining when Jamaica Brothers came on board and was helping us and so forth, and we grow a big amount, you know, that they took it to the flour mill and they milled it there and they have it in the package. You saw that package. Had it milled and packaged like this, and I have that package from then to now. And 2023, and it has not spoiled. It just speaks volume to the idea of rice of that long shelf life. So I'm imploring everybody. I know I'm telling the right thing. You can grow your rice.
2008 till 2023,
and it's still there. And if you hide it in your wherever. They said in the time of slavery, those people used to cut their rice and put it up on the ceiling, and on a Sunday morning they would take it out, warm it up, and put it in a mortar and beat it, and then they get one broad thing like a basin or something like that, and then find it out and all that type of thing. They could go down. If you're going to be growing your rice now, you try to keep the paddy rice, meaning it has the shell as a protective. You know, yes. But no plant can beat rice. In all of the positive things, you do not have to spend so much pesticide, herbicide, and all that type of thing. It's like sugarcane. You see, sugarcane, they hardly spray sugarcane for insects. Just a little herbicide for weed control and all that type of stuff. You understand me? Yeah. But in this case here, it's the same thing. And so forth. We just have to just start to grow the rice. You have some rice that are just 2.5 months it coming, some 80 days, some 90 days, some, and you grow the best one you can, and you put it up in storage that kind of way, you know what I mean? Just for a rainy day. Just for a rainy day. That's how we are determined. Have it for a rainy day, and so forth. You know? There's a joy in you growing your own rice. And when your friend come over and you fix a dinner with rice, and you can say, "Oh, it came off my farm," you know. You feel good about that and so forth. It was grown. All of these were grown in Jamaica. So just show you what Jamaica is capable of. I'm saying we need to start growing, practice it. Hone the skill, develop the techniques and all that type of stuff, you know what I mean? And just go at it, man. Because when you talk about food security, the first crop, there can be no discussion unless you have rice in mind. You know, the easiest to grow, the production cost is the smallest. You don't have to put in chop and mold and all of those type of things, cultivation practice with this, and all of that. But you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
You can grow your rice at a minimum. When you plant a corn and the corn is dry, you shed off the grain of the corn, and the next year you plant the same grain and all. Some rice are like that.
Okay.
Yes. But some, like the hybrid, it will revert to the original. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You see what I mean? You cross and you try to use that cross all the time to
just go back to the original.
Yeah. It will revert.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So you were saying to me, if a person is going to plant, we're using the mulch, or you go about it, right? And I'm saying that you sow the seed like you usually do with a little tray, 2 inches of that mixed with your sawdust or kaya, and you put some fungicide in it as well, powdered fungicide, and some fertilizer, a little of the foliage type fertilizer, 20 fertilizer in it, and you press down the soil. Then you get about, for the average, say 15 by 10 tray, you get about 3/4 of a drinks cup with rice, and you just spread it over it. You wet it, spread it over it, and then the trays, you stack them up on one another, you put them under darkness and all that type of stuff. But prior to you going to that, you have to make sure that the seeds are viable. And to do that, you get the seed in a bucket, you get some warm water and a little salt, and you put it in the water and you stir it around. Those that go to the bottom, those are viable seeds. The ones that float on the top, you get rid of those. Oh, okay. Then after the 3 days, when you take off those trays and you look and you see the white things emerging on the top, you take those trays and you put it in a bed of water, just like that, under the water. Okay.
You cover up the tray under the water.
No. You just make the tray with the water and just sit on the tray inside.
Okay.
Because usually the bottom of the tray you would put some newspaper. And when you have that mixture of the sawdust and or kaya and the topsoil and the mixture as I described before, this fibrous root system would just go down and start to get in on the paper. Okay, so when you're ready to plant, you will be planting, you just tear them apart like that and have them in your finger like this, just putting them down and you're walking from front to the back. You know what I mean? And you would plant like say 12 inches the row by 8 inches along the row like that, you know, and so forth. So, what I should say that is the method of really transplanting. You keep that thing in the water for 21 days. At 21 days, it's ready to be transplanted. Okay? So you put the mulch on top of the bed, you wet the bed thoroughly, you know, wet it, and then you just start from the front coming back. Just part the mulch and you just be putting them planting coming back. Okay now. About say you in a vegetative state, not in the flowering state, in the vegetative state. That means from the 21 day right up to say when it's gonna before it put on the florets, right? You put on probably your nitrogen fertilizer because you know you want the greenness and all of that, but you have speedy growth and so on. If it you might want phosphate, nitrogen, phosphate, the second one, and a NPK mixture, responsible for root development, cell elongation, and all that type of thing.
So it's important that the rice have proper
carbohydrate. Yes. Yes. But depending on the type of seed you're planting, like I said, if it's a hybrid seed, you instead of having, you're going to have a massive amount of root from it, as opposed to the other one, because it gives it the hybrid vigor. And in terms of suckers or tillers, the traditional one will give you about 8. This new one here now, the hybrid one will give you about 15. You see what I'm saying? And from this hybrid seed, the seeds are going to come up on the florets. Remember now, you have 15 suckers to give seeds, the florets on it to give seeds, so you are multiplying when you do the maths. The amount, say you have 300 seeds on the florets, right? And the panicle. And when you finish, you could say one seed is giving you no more than 1,000 seeds. And that by itself is just phenomenal. That is just, yes, when you think about it, it's just, yes. So you can't, the productivity of rice, that's what has stopped starvation in the world.
Yeah.
Rice.
Rice.
Yes. And I tell you again, that if you were to get a pound of yam or sweet potato and all that type of thing, you could share that pound of thing with 4 or 5 persons. But with rice, you could do that because the water and everything, and it fills you up and all. You know what I mean? Yes.
So tremendous, man. So wonderful talking with Mr. Gerval. We're getting all of this, grasping all of this information.
Yes.
So we give thanks again for Mr. Gerval Weir, who is informing us, is putting us on our toes.
Yes.
So we can help ourselves in the days to come.
Yes. Just to say, it's not that difficult to get these seeds. It is not difficult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People gonna buy, go on to plant seeds, and it is not difficult. It is not difficult to get a small rice mill.
Yeah.
Even for your home purpose now. Technology is so advanced, and in no time at all you know what I mean? And it is not even difficult for you to get drill your own water. You can start this morning. That's another subject we need to come to later on. We can start this morning, and by this evening we have water coming out of the ground, rather than those big old giant things. I don't want to depart.
Okay. But that's interesting.
That is so
much interesting.
Yes, that is so
much interesting. I mean,
yes.
People would love to hear about this.
Yes.
So we definitely have to get Mr. Gerval to come back, because he's a man, he's knowledgeable. You hear about his qualifications, and I think you were teaching in something.
Yes, I taught high school. I taught at a college in Houston, Texas, Green Revolution Department at the Don Levy campus, community college, for about on a part-time basis. About 5 years, on a part-time basis. But these are some of the things we talk about here too. The foods and all that type of stuff. You know?
But think about it. Agriculture has been implemented in the schools across Jamaica, and I think that the schools could do well with you coming in and enlightening the students in their agriculture, and probably the school could make it a little project for themselves.
Yes, that would be good.
That would be good.
I remember when I came back and I was teaching at the high school, I brought so many seeds, and at my school we grow rice. Even at College of Agriculture, I was a farm manager at the College of Agriculture, and I grew rice up there as well, just to introduce it, and when I had those rice seeds, I would distribute them. Like when I went to the variety trial and we went to Denby, we had some little small packages giving out, and people gone all over the island with. So someone rice are out here right now. You saw that bill with that man, 2012, and he had that thing from away. The Japanese came here, the way around is a whole antiquated bill. It's still working, but he's still using it.
Yes. And in Jamaica, we have youngsters that are skilled. They can build anything that they put their minds to.
Yes.
They could.
Yes.
Yeah, they could build. They could build one.
Yes, when you're working around the equipment, you will see this. Like when you have a mill now, okay? I mean the big mill.
Yeah.
They have that big round rubber, thick rubber. spinning like this, and the other one spinning the opposite direction, right?
Okay, so
and they come and almost mesh together. And the upper is up there with the rice, and it drops in the upper, and it comes through that little small space and husk off the seed, you know? I was even telling you too that's a question. How to handle it after the rice coming. You use your rice knife, you have it, and cut the rice without the combine of the sickle. And at the same time, when you get that, the local way is that you get a big 45-gallon drum, and you put it like that with the mouth of it open, and you just get hitting it like that, and they all fly out. You can get a tarpaulin and you put on the ground, and the big tire or something like that with the rim on it, you just knock it off on it like that, and all of that. Come. You know what I mean? And when you do get it off, when you get it, you are going to sun dry it, or if you have a dryer. With the sun dry now, you dry for 3 days, but you must be aware that the water is not uniform throughout it, like if you had used the dryer, the artificial dryer. Okay. And so when you're milling, you're going to have a good amount of brokerage.
Okay.
Yes, you're going to have a good amount of brokerage. And after you do that now, you can also, after you do that, right, knock it out, you're going to have to get a pan. When the wind is blowing on, you put a big fan in front of it, and you get that like a 5-gallon bucket, and you be holding it up in the air like this. The wind is blowing, and the seed will come right down straight there, and the trash would blow off and all of that. But to clean it up, so it don't come down to the question of the milling, and that's why I'm saying that we can do it. We are in modern time now, and those mills are available. The green revolution is all about how to utilize the pollen. The pollen is very important. What he's doing, this is the scissors here. He goes to the rice, he's in the water, and he starts from probably about 7:30 in the morning, and he cut off a half of every seed. Florets, because you don't have any seed yet. He cuts off a half of that. On the whole thing. And when he does that, after finishing that, he do like this here, and he gets the bag. At the top, at the bottom, he gets the bag, and he puts it over the rice, the florets. Right? He put it over on the tree. And when he does that, he folds here, and he folds there, and he gets a clip like this here, and he clips. Remember now, this is the tree that is in the water. It's a live thing. And at the top here, he just fold there, and he pins here again, and leave it. It's gonna be here until the other plant beside it is dry. He's gonna be on the bag. But he goes to the other plant that is beside it, and he gets this one. He opens this now. He opens this because the field is shedding the pollen, and when he opens that, he put this inside of it. The bag is there, and he does like this. And he lets out the pollen in it. And he folds back the bag. Now, after 3 to 4 days, he comes back and he glances in the bag. You would have seen
Remember now, a half of this was gone. This place was thrown away. But in 3 days, they come back and they see that this thing developed like this, looking like a gunshot. And that is the hybrid seed. That is the hybrid seed. So it shows that after this, it gives you a new shape after 3 to 4 days. And at the same time, if you were to squeeze this one, you would see milk coming out like up, indicating that it has been, filled up.
Okay, yeah.
And it is the same thing. I said 3 to 4 days, it's pollination. It's going to be shed.
Because I know too that if you plant a corn and you see have a lot of scatter grain on it, and if you have just gotten a piece of stick, when it is flowering, you have the silk on the side and at the top is the tassel. So you plant them close at 6 inches apart, and you are expecting it to be self-pollinated. But and probably will start pollinated. But if you have just gotten a piece of stick, and you see that little rod what the Chinese doing like this here, and just agitate the plant, the pollen would have pollinated and you would have those types of stuff. Okay. And it's so I'm trying to impress on you the importance of pollination. When you see they put bees close to a field, the purpose of it and all that type of thing. Very important, and that has been the difference between the starfish and what we have here. You had asked me what some of the insect and pests that affect rice. And I said when we were out that you would have like insect armyworm and late blight intolerant of the fungicide. If you have the armyworm and all that type of thing, and those people who are growing in aquatic, in water.
Now, I have designed a spraying system. Instead of using one nozzle, I put on 8 different nozzles. And one man would stay here, the other man stay way out there and walk over the field of the rice. Rather than you with that one nozzle tearing up and going through the water and all that type of thing.
They have the bunds, they build the bunds to entrap the water, right?
Yeah.
They build the bunds to entrap the water, and you can always open the gate for the water coming. Okay? Because if rain is falling, a whole lot of rain is falling, you're experiencing rainfall, rainfall, 3-4 days. You would open all the bunds and make the water there because rain is falling. You gotta get the water.
Right.
But if you have the water, remember I said that the rice always have 4 inches of water and it permanent flood all the time. Right? And you fling that fertilizer in the water, and you don't do it early in the morning when the water is on the leaf for the rice, and you don't do it late in the afternoon, either when rain falls. Okay, so the water, the fertilizer will go inside here. Remember now, plant take up their food by drinking it. So it's in the water ready for it to drink. Okay, so you find that you have to be mindful of those things, the techniques and the things that might hamper you and all that type of stuff. Yes. I tell you, I know I was one of those diaspora persons. I live in Houston, Texas between Alabama and Houston for about 19-20 years. And I know the power of diaspora people. And we are all Jamaican. And I know if people sort of reach out to them and just ask them and say, listen, our tools that we are using in Jamaica, traditional slave tools still. We hardly have any tractors. We don't have, you can't even find one corn planter that you put on the back of the tractor in Jamaica. And I know that's for people. We are appealing to you, help your government, help your country, and all that type of thing. In that, because I know you can get things and help us. We want a couple of these small mills, they can get them over there. Planting material, they can get them over there, wherever they are and all that. And I'm saying, like I said, and this is what I believe in, like Robert F. Kennedy said, don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. And every Jamaican of goodwill need to come forward now. This is the time. This is the farmers' battle cry. We are ready and we are going to develop our country. And make we withdraw.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So this is it for today.
I don't know if you want to discuss, but I'm here already and willing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I didn't carry any book. That means I have those things in my head from such time. And now that type of thing I've experienced it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm experiencing. So I can share it. I'm glad to share this information
With the
everybody.
world, yeah.
And to beseech my fellow Jamaicans, please go out and start plant your own rice. One person gonna be, but they are not gonna be so affected. The importers, they're not gonna be affected. Do the planting of the rice in the country. Remember now the population is increasing, the size of the country is decreasing. Right? And I mean, so many institutions supply. They say that we have 2.7 million people in Jamaica, and we need 100,000 tons of rice for the year to feed the whole Jamaica.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Because when you look back at independence time, the population of Jamaica was 1 point something, and 50 years after is 2.7.
Right.
And in 50 years more, it will be about 6 million in this small. Yes, and you have to be careful the type of soil, what you put in it. You know what I mean? When you put concrete on the soil, you can use it again. And when you have places that nature give you with the water, and you let the water send to the sea, and you utilize it in an agricultural way, and be mindful of what is happening, we will be in trouble.
Okay. Yeah, man. All right. Thank you for talking with us.
Yes, sir.
And viewers, we thank you also for your company this week.